welcome to my tour of Mermaid Type Tarot. My name is Mitra Klein, and I am the author and the artist who created these cards. I'm going to start here by looking at the miniature booklet that, I don't know if you heard that crow, but we're looking here at the miniature booklet that comes with both of the decks. So if you order the original version or the party version, it comes with this mini deck that has all the information in it. It's black and white and it doesn't have any pictures, but it's small and handy, and it fits inside of a little black bag that comes with the cards as well. So everyone gets a little mini booklet that's portable. This one underneath is the workbook. It's half letter size, so that's 5.5 by 8.5 by 11, and it's designed to be something you can write in. The paper is like normal printing paper, and it's full of colored pictures. It has the exact same text like I mentioned, but it's bigger and a little bit easier to read. I give you the basics for getting started if you don't know anything about tarot, and then I also write about what's unique in this deck from my point of view as a creator. And it's divided into the major and minor arcana, and it gives you pictures of both versions, the type version and the party version. So the type version is going to limit the graphic to like a number or a letter, and the party version has pictures that are totally just pictures. So like in this one you see the 16, and you can see an image through the silhouette of the number 16, but you don't see the full image. So if you want to look up this information and you don't want to pay a little bit extra for the booklet, or you don't think you're going to write notes or create your own guide for interpreting the cards, this is available online in a digital format. So if you buy the type version because you like the letters and you want all the letters, but you're curious what the pictures look like, you can go ahead and look these up online so you have an idea of what the full image looks like, which means you kind of know a secret. Okay, so we're getting into the two cards here, and I chose to go with environmentally friendly packaging, especially for the first order. So I actually had to pay extra to get just the black and white, and I also made a mini book as a default because, again, it's less impact on the environment. So each one of these tuck boxes is actually pretty nicely designed. Wearing gloves was not a good idea. It made everything a little bit difficult. But it's got a little cut at the back, which opens it up so that it's pretty easy to get the cards out. So I know I've gotten some tuck boxes that are really frustrating, but this one is actually pretty decent. I like how it comes out. I like that it's natural. It doesn't come with plastic, so there wasn't additional plastic in the printing process. The type deck has the address on there, so both decks have the web address, so you can get the online version with the full color guidebook, which I think you can download and print out if you're feeling really ambitious. And it has the @ symbol and the and symbol on the packaging. The Mermaid type has the same image on the front and the back, which is a painting called Gemini Twins. So I'm taking out the type version. The type version has the full silhouetted alphabet on the back, which is special characters, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and the basic numbers. So I'm just going to do like a flip through of both decks, so you'll actually see every image twice. But I think that this is a beautiful way to look at the cards because you get the context of the two different versions and how they play together. And I tried to make them really colorful. So I hope you enjoy the different colored patterns. And of course, the first letter is I. I. And then the next one is a 2. So we're going from the I to the 2. Because I chose to use letters and layered up the letters with the tarot, it adds multiple levels of meaning. So there's a lot of options in terms of using your own intuitive wisdom as you work with the cards, which I think is a really wonderful thing to expand on the traditional tarot with other forms of intuitive and divination methods. Of course, the language is having, the alphabet and the numbers as the basis, along with just pictures. Like the Three of Pentacles, the party version, you're going to get just pictures as well. So that one you can see that the A is there. It's very subtle though, so some of the letters are more subtle than others. And there are different methods in terms of the type of artwork and the way that it's been created. The 7, for example, is one of a few actual watercolor and gouache paintings that have been photographed. So you get a nice real texture from the actual physical artwork. The back of the party deck is oil painting. And this one, the sun, for example, is an illustration. So it was made entirely digitally. There's no physical version of that isn't printed. But having some variety in the way that the cards were made, again, adds to intuitive reading, because you might see something in the material or in the texture that adds to the traditional meaning. And I've been doing tarot for 20 years, so I have pretty much all the cards memorized in a lot of different ways. So for me, this deck is fun because it does two things. It allows me to be more intuitive in terms of reading the cards because it's unique. This one here is a photograph of a sculpture. And so, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit off track here. There's a plane flying by. I live near an airport, so pardon the sound there. But so what I like about it is that you can, it's both I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, it's both more complicated because you kind of have to have the tarot memorized and know what they mean. And it's also simpler because if you don't have the tarot memorized, you can start with, your associations with, for example, the letter A or the number 5, or this one here is all the special characters. You have the exclamation point and the plus sign and the squiggly line. So you might have language associations with the artwork that can help you tap into your own intuition and come up with a story and a way of accessing your intuitive knowledge with the language itself without having to memorize the symbology of the tarot. So, and of course, if you do have the symbology of the tarot memorized, then, you don't actually need the picture at a certain point. So the cards just have it in language, like it's the Lover's card. If you're familiar with the Lover's card, you kind of know what it's supposed to look like. This is sort of a neat thing that happens when you put them next to each other. Sometimes you get exactly the same card. And this happening in this reading is kind of special and fun and completely coincidental because this summer I dressed up as the magician for a tarot ensemble where we all got dressed up as our favorite card and created a short film for a digital parade. And I was the magician. We had the Empress, the High Priestess, Justice, and the Queen of Pentacles. And if you want to see us dressed up in our costumes, I included that as a bonus video on the tarot homepage. So the website has links to schedule a reading with me if you want, and or do I'm getting tongue-tied again. This one, the Devil, I wanted to talk about because it's sideways. So some of the cards, the artwork just fit better sideways. So there's a couple of them that twist, and this other card, I was going to pull it out and talk about it because it's a 360 photo. So the 360 photo is kind of a cool thing. It's a crazy graphic here that you're looking at, a drawing inside of a bowl shape in a 360 photo. But anyway, so some of the images are a little bit overwhelming. It's hard to figure out what's going on in them. But that is kind of part of the point, especially in the typed version where it's being obscured. Some of the images are intentionally being obscured. And that is just to communicate how when you're working with the tarot and you're working with the unconscious, we only ever see portions of the bigger picture, and there is an element that's always hidden, and that we have to feel our way. We can't always see everything. So, so I was talking about the website as I'm flipping through the rest of these cards here. You're getting kind of a view of all the different letters and numbers. So the website has the guidebook, so you can see the digital version of the guidebook. It has access to purchase the cards if you want. This is another sideways one. And then it has some bonus videos. I've done a whole bunch of comparison videos with my own personal deck. And I just love using two decks at the same time in my readings. One is a primary one and one to clarify or something like that. I just like having all the extra cards. And I like getting duplicates and seeing patterns between the two that you don't necessarily get with one deck. So I have all these versus videos where I do comparisons between two at a time, which are much shorter than this. This one's a little bit longer. So here's the star. The star is the featured graphic in the type version. The party version. Yeah. So those the swords are all lowercase letters, except for the court cards. The court cards all are uppercase letters for every suit. So there's a pattern where the suits in the court cards are all uppercase. And this one I'm just showing that I have these black outlines, these the uppercase letters I created as black and white outlines, and then I actually created a coloring book so people can color in their own letters and spell things out. The alphabet that you see on the back of the type card is available as a font that you can download and install on your computer, and you can type in mermaids. But they're just the silhouettes. So again, it's kind of like as you use the card and you get familiar with the numbers, you can see things in your imagination that aren't actually there. So when you first look at the silhouette of the letter L, for example, or J, you don't know what the mermaid looks like, but as you become familiar with the letters, you can kind of like see the mermaids in the silhouette or in the shadow. And I think that is a visual way, an artistic way of helping to educate people about the unconscious and about the imagination and about intuition. because it is about seeing things that aren't there, about activating your imagination. It involves memory, but it also involves, an imagination as well. So these cards do that in a way that's unique. And I also think that it's intuitive and accessible. So as you play with the deck, it'll start to kind of magically become something that you see in more detail and that feels more animated and alive and magical as you play with them. So I'm realizing as I get to the end of this deck why people normally don't wear gloves when they do these readings, because they're sort of slippery. I didn't want my hands to become a distraction, so I thought I would use gloves. But I see now why people normally don't use gloves. So, yeah, I'm curious whether or not there are any combinations that you're seeing or that have appeared that are more meaningful for you. Any patterns that mean something. For example, this HD, like when you say HD out loud, it might remind you of something like, I want to finish it. I want to say like HD TV, high definition. So you can see in that sense how the letters and the numbers kind of help you make new associations that are outside of what you would get in a traditional tarot, which is only image based. So, yeah. And of course, I have my favorite cards. The X is one of my favorite cards. The Death card there, that's another 360 photo. The Ten of Cups, it's a drawing. The Six of Coins, that's it's the uppercase F seeing through to the lowercase f photograph underneath it. And the Page of Wands, that K, is one of my favorite cards. I just love the soft colors. Coincidentally, the 9 and the 7 as actual illustrated numbers ended up going to new parents, whose children were coincidentally born on the on days that associated with the 9 and the 7. So of course this deck has a whole bunch of other meanings for me that are personal as the artist, but I tried to make it as open as possible so that you could come up with your own special meanings and associations with each card. And that's why I created a workbook with a space to add notes so that you can elaborate as they have special meanings for you as well. You can do that. So these last few cards are really stuck to the table. Kind of difficult to pick up. I'm trying to think of what else to say here as I'm getting toward the end of the video and we're looking at the cards. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to add. This has been a pretty long process, and certainly I've been working on this project for many years at this point, and this mermaid angel was the last image that I came up with. And I think, it's interesting how the cards end. I got a three of swords. I think, there was a lot of creativity and heartbreak and in coming up to this manifestation of something new to offer with the mermaids. And so that Gemini mermaid, which is the star, was the final image for the entire process. And I see it as a very hopeful and guiding image. One thing I wanted to mention too, I'm going to kind of attempt to shuffle these cards, and they are created by a company that specializes in like playing cards for games. So they're very easy and nice to shuffle. I got the, the sort of deluxe finishing on them. So they should be pretty durable. The type deck, which is black on the front and the back, is perfect to do your own colors on the side. So if you want to personalize the edges, because it's black on the front and black on the side, you can take a Sharpie and, you have to be a little bit careful, but essentially you can put whatever color you want to put on the side. I've seen some people do like rainbows. Well, they'll do like different colors, stripes, or a gradient where they'll do start with one color and then do a different color in the middle. So the top is one color, the middle is one color, and the bottom's one color. So I made mine black on the edges. I liked the solid black. I would not recommend doing that on the white cards because you will see any mistakes really easily. So these are not as ideal for edging the deck or personalizing in that way unless you also trim them down and take all the text off the cards, which you can do if you are that good. All right, so going back and looking at these boxes, I hope you have enjoyed my tour of the Mermaid Type Tarot, and please let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy them, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.